Hi everyone, and welcome to our second Q&A live stream. We did our first one of these last week, showcasing some of the key StockBook features for powering online sales. It was great to hear from those of you that watched it live, but also the positive feedback we've had from everyone since. The videos and streams are all available to watch on our YouTube channel, but obviously we're happy to take any questions on previous shows or other StockBook points today. So remember, you can always comment on the previous videos on YouTube, and we can use that for the next live stream. As we said last week though, it is great if you can attend the show live, so you can interact with us. We're keen to kind of establish the best time for running this show, so please let us know what you think and where you're watching from today. And please, can everyone attending today hit the subscribe button. We're trying to build as many followers as we can, obviously, for content on the channel. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris Stott. I'm the MD at SalesMaster. Really keen to keep running these shows and build up a bit of momentum. But obviously it's going to be down to you guys watching and creating some content for us. So once again, I've got Howard Cox with me. So Howard is head of sales. Can you tell us about some of the things that we're going to be covering today, Howard?
Yeah, absolutely. Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon,
Hi.
Chris. Yeah, we're going to be covering a bit more back to the basics within SalesMaster and the key features of the use of the inventory list. So such as searching for vehicles and then building your own views on top of that data, and really hopefully some ticks and trips tricks that people may have not seen before, so that we're hopefully going to introduce everyone to. So yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Brilliant. That's good to hear, and good to have you with us again. And once again today, we have got the YouTube chat. So put your comments in the chat now that's live, and let us know where you're watching from. Annette is moderating, so please join in. We'll put the questions up on the screen so you can all see. We've got a few people watching right now, so please give us a like and get involved. Okay, so Howard, let's get started. If I just switch over to the split screen, we can compare the lockdown hair as before. That is progressing nicely. I've had to change to the flat design to fit into the picture, but. I've got your screen halfway up here now, mate. So let's just switch over to you.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's it. I've got you on there now. So if you just put the your picture in the bottom corner, that'd be cool.
Yeah, perfect. How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
I seem to have a picture of me on the feed to this as well. So I don't know where that's coming from. If you move that one out of the way,
how about that?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. There you go.
Great. Okay. So yes, yeah. There you go. All sorted tech. So absolutely wanted to cover some overview of StockBook in this demonstration or this live stream for us. So I'm going to start really with the basics of using the search function on top of the stock that's in this environment. We've gone back to the same environment actually, so it's just a demo environment of just over 20,000 vehicles in this list view, and very similar to what we briefly looked at last week, where you can just scroll down and find the vehicles that you're looking for. But for this purpose, we're gonna start searching into some vehicles and looking in our stock. What we have created, so you can see, as I mentioned, I've got over plus 20,000 vehicles in this view. But if I start looking for a specific brand, you'll see I'm starting to type in Volkswagen, and you can see here I can now select that. So it's just like a helper. So rather than typing in the whole word every time, we give some really quick shortcut helpers on that as well. So just looking at the Volkswagen, so the numbers now jumping down from that 20,000+ now to just 2.5. And then we're just going to keep going down a bit further. So I'm just going to look at all the new vehicles. Again, I've got when I started typing in new, you can see here, I'm looking for the stock type that's new. So that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to select that. And then we're going to look at a certain model. So I'm just going to select all the Golfs. And you can just see the number is just drilling down every time I put in a token. So it's removing everything that's not associated with that token. Then I'm just going to have a look for the TDIs, and it will just keep going down. What you will notice in my view, because of my access on this data, I can see sold vehicles. But if I want to remove anything from my search at all, I just do a minus before I do the token. So if I say minus sold, that will just remove all the sold vehicles. So now I'm just looking at 170 Golf TDIs that we have in stock that are new. And then I'm going to keep going down a little bit further. So you can see the little color swatch on the left-hand side here. It gives you the color of the vehicle, and if you hover over the top of it, it'll give you the actual brand or manufacturer color of that as well. But if I want to look for a certain color, I can select that as a token as well. So I'm just going to look at the blue Golfs that I have in stock there, TDIs. But now what I wanted to show you is that if I just take out blue, that will just backspace and just take the blue as an option away and just look for every color. But what I wanted to show people today, while we're on this, is that if you look for a blue vehicle, obviously just type in blue and it shows all the blue ones, as you can see on the left-hand side there. But if I wanted to also look for a red vehicle, for instance, a different color, if I type in red, what that will do is it will contradict itself. Because initially I've typed in blue, so it's showing me all the blue ones, and then I've looked for red inside blue. So it's come up with nothing and gives me no matches, as you can see there. But if I take those tokens back out, and so that it clears that search, if I say blue or red, like so, it will create one token like that, and it will show me both colors. Okay, so you can do that with many options. If you just put an or before you hit enter, before you create the token, it will show you the multiple choices that you're looking for. So you can go even a bit further and say blue or red or green. You can do it as many times as you want. And later in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can drop lots of comm numbers in, so odd numbers. So if you're looking for sort of more than 5, you don't want to be punching them in and saying or after each one. So I'm going to show you a way of just dropping them straight in and finding multitude of up to a sort of 500 to 1,000 vehicles. So we'll look at that together. Now, once I've got down to this, what I want to do now is I've got these headers that I've got in my account, which I'm looking at. So I've got the vehicle description, the stock type of the vehicle, the retail price, the mileage, the site, and the vehicle status in year. Now, mileage is quite irrelevant in this case because I'm looking at new cars, so I don't really need that header in there. The other ones I might want to leave. But what I'm going to show you now is one of the tabs up the right hand side here in the middle, which is called Column Chooser. And if I click on that, what it will do is it will open up all the headers or columns that are now available for me to view the data in. Okay, so these ones at the top here, as it says there, columns in use. So these are the ones that I had in my view. And if I want to take mileage away, as I suggested, all I do is I can grab the header and I can just drop it in the box below, and it will just now redraw the page without mileage in there. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some headers that are relevant, that I do want to see. They do run. You can see there's quite a few in this demo environment. They do run alphabetically. So if you were looking for a certain header, so let's say days in stock or DIS, you can see if you run alphabetically, you can find days in stock. And once you find the header you're looking for, you can just pick that up and you can put it in any order that you want to onto your view. In the
One of the things that's quite good on that,
but if I'm looking for
I don't know whether everyone knows this, but you can use that. You're going to show it anyway. The browser search to find it. Yeah, that's really easy way to find the fields.
So. So if I'm, as Chris mentioned there, if I'm looking for something that I can't find or I just want to type it in and find it quickly, I can use the search function, Control F on the system, and then just look for what I'm looking for. So if I start typing in order number, for instance, you'll see it will it will highlight over the top of order number. I can say, great, that's what I was looking for.
What if some of the accounts don't, some of our customers perhaps have a different list of fields? We're able to customize it per kind of per dealer group or per manufacturer or per whoever's using SalesMaster to determine what's shown in that column chooser, or by role?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So by access role, by account, this is a demo environment. So we have lots of headers, most of them that are available, but we tailor them down based on the account preference. So, you know, if it was someone just using our StockBook One product, so it would just be a new car, they wouldn't have things like, you know, the DMS stock number or the PDI information, because it wouldn't be something that they would be using from a used car perspective. So yeah, we tailor them down specifically. And I suppose for the
similar
account,
to that, if they've not got, if anybody watching now, or you know, when you watch this in the future, if you don't have these same columns in your view, then get in touch with our support team, because we can, you know, this can be configured, as Howard said, by account. So as long as you're on the appropriate product. So as Howard said, StockBook One is new cars only in that case, but providing you're on that sort of plan that allows new and used, we can tailor these for your account.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've brought in the dates in stock. I've brought in the order number. I'm going to bring in build week as well. We are looking at Volkswagens here, so from an SLI or manufacturer's perspective, from the data. But I can choose some more ones that may be driven by the DMS. So I mentioned DMS, so DMS stock number, for instance. Again, this may not contain any data because it's just a demo, but if we were having the data fed in on top of the manufacturer data, then the DMS stock number would also be available in that view. Another one I could bring in actually is vehicle status code rather than the status itself. But you can configure it exactly how you want it to look. So you can see it's really a real different layout of the data now, but still with exactly the same search. But now I've got things like data in stock, the vehicle status code, obviously the build week as well. One thing I would mention in this, actually, the build week is always shown with what build week we are in up the top right hand side next to your name. So if you're looking at build weeks here, you can see what build week we are in at this present time. There you go. So yeah, not a lot of people know that bit. So you can see that up there. Now, obviously, I've gone into the system. We've done a search. We've looked for specific vehicles. We've added in our own headers. But rather than me logging in every time, I want to be able to recall this information on a regular basis or look at the data. So, excuse me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually save that view. And if I click on the little star there, you'll see here it will come up with a label. And now I can create my own label. So I'm going to call that Golf TDI in blue, or red, or green. So I can call it whatever I want. I can then share that view with anyone else I want to in the business. So if I click on share, you can see here some names will appear. So I can click on their name and it will share that view to them. Or I could just simply save it for myself. And as soon as I hit save, you'll see here it will create that little token or that header that I've just created under my views. And I can do a number of things with that data now. So if I click on it, I can run that report, to have a look at it. I could edit it to slightly change it, or I could pin it as a tab. And if I pin it as a tab, the next time I refresh my screen, and every time I'm in SalesMaster now, I'll have my default exactly as everyone shares together, where we've got these 20,000 plus cars. But I've now got this little token that I've just created. It says exactly what it was looking at. And if I click on it, it will run the report and it will add all the headers in that I added in as well. And that's a fully dynamic report. So as a vehicle is sold from that, it will come out of that list. But as a new Golf TDI drops into the stock, or in those colours, it will just fall into that list as well. So it just dynamically updates.
Everything on here is in real time. And, you know, I suppose that single view of your master inventory, which for those that we were talking about last week around powering online sales, it sort of gets even more important to keep everything in sync. If you're selling cars both in the showroom and online, it's important to have that real-time position of the master inventory. So great to be able to see that in a dynamic view.
Yeah, absolutely. So What I can do now, so I can create multiple headers running across the top here. You know, key information that I want to know on a daily or weekly, bi-weekly basis, and I just want to run on reports. I can just select that. I see a lot of sales execs also use this for searching specific vehicles for customers. So, you know, like when we did red and blue and it didn't appear with any vehicles. You know, you may be looking for a specific vehicle for a customer that you come up with no responses on, or you know, no vehicles available. You can then save that view and then click on that view every day. You know, a file's running or data's come into the system, and then once it obviously appears, it will just then fall into that list. If I get time, I'll show you how to do that. But that would just, you know, you could have a vehicle appear in the list when it comes in. So let's choose another brand now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be a bit more specific about our searching, specific about the criteria of the searching. So we're going to use what is called Search Builder. So this little spanner here next to the save view, Search Builder just there. So we're just going to, let's have a look at the Jaguars. So we're going to take the Jaguars. I'm going to minus the sold again, because I just want to see available vehicles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a couple of headers. So I'm going to take out mileage, but I'm going to bring in days in stock, for instance. Now, with any of these headers, you can click on them and they sort ascending or descending. So you can see here now, once I've done that, the oldest vehicle is now sitting at the top, 374 days. This is just demo stock or demo vehicles. So that's my oldest vehicle sitting at the top there. Now we can also, on this, we can configure accounts to always have the oldest vehicle sitting at the top. So some accounts we do in alphabetical order, and some we do in the oldest vehicle always sitting at the top of the list. So no matter what people are drilling down into, the oldest vehicle is always sits at the top. So useful to know. But from my perspective, I just wanted to do that for ourselves, so I can sort.
And those like where you've got that, Howard. Just another question on that. Where you've got you've gone from looking for Volkswagen stock to now Jaguar. You had them kind of all in the same list. That's because we can configure, you know, everything. So if you've got permission, that's based on user permissions, isn't it? So can we create different roles for different views?
Yeah, so we tend to deal with reasonable size groups which have multiple different brands. So, you know, if I was a Volkswagen user, I wouldn't necessarily want to see the new Jaguars. So when I log into the system as a Volkswagen new car salesman, I just see the Volkswagen on there. But as a group, from a group perspective, you may want to see everything in one place. So we can do, and I guess
that's another important piece when we're feeding externally to other services. If you want to send stock out to your website, instead of having to have one method of doing it for the Volkswagen division and one method doing it for the Jaguar division, we can take care of that in that single API with an integration.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so we found some vehicles. We're just looking at Jaguars actually that are not sold. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Search Builder now. Now I've sorted it by my days in stock, but for this occasion, I want to be a bit more specific about the search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the header days in stock, and all I do is I simply just type it in, and it will show me what I'm looking for. And I can select days in stock. Now I can do that from a range. So I can say, you can see here, there's a drop down that says is, more than, less than. If I'm on is, I might want to look at vehicles that are between a certain range. So I could say, actually, just show me all my Jaguars that are between 120 and 150. And then I just apply that filter. And you can see here, we've now got 45 vehicles that fall into that view. So I could save that and have that as my save as a drop down as well, or as a tab. But what we can also do is we can look for a vehicle that is more than a certain days old. So I'm going to look at all my vehicles, all my Jaguars, that are over 90 days. So you can see here now, I've captured all those vehicles. So I've got 203 of them. Again, I can move my headers around if I choose to. So I could bring in order number, for instance, and just drop that into the view of the data, like so. And then, of course, exactly as we did with the Golfs, I can then save that. So I can say Jaguar over 90 days. Like so, share that with everyone again. So, you know, I could tell my sales team, actually, this is what I want you to focus on because these are our oldest vehicles. And then I could just simply save that on there as well. So I've now got that as my own tab. And then I could, again, pin that as a tab on the screen. So you can see here now, I've built another one. So I've got my default that's got all the vehicles in it. I've got the Golfs that I'm looking at in those various colours and with the different headers. And I've got all the Jaguars that are over 90 days as well.
Presumably, now. Howard, you've got some, I guess, predetermined ones of these views that would help help set up our users. So when somebody goes live on StockBook, we've got kind of the most helpful views that we can already pre-configure at point of implementation.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we you know, the guys do really well. That Simon does a really good job with the customers when he's doing the training. He will tend to ask for, you know, offer them a number of views that we can support with and share straight across to them. So you know, when you get SalesMaster day one, you're not left on your own. You can
Excellent.
We can support you with your first views, and then obviously, as you get into the system, you can start to create your own as you go along as well. Like we've done, and they're very straightforward to do, and you can go down in as much detail.
And I guess that's where you can tailor it between certain brands as well, because if you've got some information that's relevant for the Jaguars and some that's relevant for the Volkswagens, if you have got permission to see different brands, you could customize those views to suit for the different brands, or I suppose the difference between new and used cars.
Yeah, absolutely, and that probably, Chris, is a great one actually. So I'll bring you on to something else that we've got available in the system that you know, people may or may not have seen before. But if we looked at all vehicles, so I'm just going to take out the sold one. So I'm just looking at across a whole channel of brands. So I've got the Audis, the Volkswagens, various other brands available in here. But what I want to do with them, that's great. I've got nearly 14,000 vehicles that I may want to be able to look at in a snapshot. But what I can also do is I go back into Spanner or back into the search builder area. What you can see here under my filters, where we looked at the vehicles over 90 days. So again, actually, we could do that. We could say, show me all the vehicles that are over 90 days. But don't forget, now we're looking at all of the brands within that data. So we've got nearly 4,000 vehicles that fall into that criteria. But what I can also do now is I can group those vehicles in like a pivot table. So what I can say here is I can say, actually, just show me all the vehicles over 90 days, but instead of all the vehicle data, bring it in as by brand. I can do that by brand. I can do that by site. I can even do that by model. So you can see here, if I click on totals, again, it will sort ascending and descending. I can see my biggest culprit over 90 days is Audi in this case. This is just demo, but you can see here you've now got an overview and a grouping of that criteria as well. So yeah, really powerful. And you can bring in various headers into that as well, into that data, just to give you a bit more of an overview. We've got some recent ones we've added in where you can look at stock that's over a certain period. So you can see here these days in stock between ranges as well now. Obviously, we're only looking at vehicles over 90 days, but if I wanted to look at even more specific range, so if I bring in 80, so I've got 0 to 89, so obviously we're looking at 90 plus, so there will be nothing there. But anything between 90 and 179, there's a count on that, and then a count on what's over 180 or what's between 180 and 269. So yeah, really good view of the data as a kind of. And
when you save those views as well, it'll save exactly that layout presumably. So you could customize that if you wanted that almost like as a dashboard view to keep track on the stock rather than looking at the list views of each individual vehicle.
Absolutely. So yeah, as soon as I'm going to call this grouped by DIS, by brand. I can call it however I want to name it. Again, I can save it and I can pin it as a tab, and that will just dynamically update as we go along. So as days move, it will just keep counting for you and putting them into the correct criteria.
So instead of,
but what
I was going to say, sorry, it just instead of those reliance on spreadsheets and email kind of distribution lists being sent all around the business, instead you can configure this as a kind of, I suppose, a manager's view of the stock, and then share that with everybody. But I guess you could also automatically send that out through SalesMaster as well.
You can. So yeah, we tend to obviously try to keep everyone in the same environment or in SalesMaster, so that they're, any changes that go on with vehicles is picked up by everyone. But if you wanted to bring this data out, any of these headers that we've created, we've created 2 or 3 today. But if I wanted to bring this out, I can actually schedule this as an email. So if I click that, I can choose when I want that. So I might say actually every Monday and Friday, I'm going to have that at a certain time of the day. So 8 o'clock in the morning, starting this Monday. Perfect. I can have that as an Excel, as a PDF, or even a CSV. And I can add my, my management team potentially, or whoever I wanted to, into receiving that as an additional recipient.
And that just hits then your,
as soon as I press save,
just hits your inbox as a direct view of the latest position.
Absolutely. Yeah. So great way to just keep updated rather than going in and manually running these reports on in various systems on spreadsheets. You can just get this to automate for you. So yeah, quite a powerful way of keeping track of where you're up to within that as well. Now, one piece I did want to show was, I mentioned it earlier, we know how to do multiple searching. So, we can put comm number or colors, so red or blue, as I did in the beginning. But if I wanted to drop a volume of comm numbers in here, what I wouldn't want to do, especially, let's say the factory told me that, there's 100 vehicles or whatever amount of vehicles that have now got something specific on them on a campaign potentially, rather than me going in and typing all 100 in, what I can do is if I go back to Search Builder and I select the drop down, and if I type in order number, I can select that, and you can see here, as soon as I've done that, it's saying is any of, so I can either type them in, or again, I could just paste them in. So there's 69 vehicles that I'm pasting in, and as soon as I press apply, that will look up all of those vehicles that are within that list. So you can see there's 69 that it's picked up.
So you could simply just take a spreadsheet of order numbers and copy and paste straight into SalesMaster, and that would filter accordingly.
Yeah. So we've been doing that quite a lot, and quite a lot with the end of last year as well. Just campaign on top, and just people want to look at specific vehicles or highlight vehicles to their sales team, to give them an indication of something maybe a campaign that's on top of them. So we can do that now as well. So once I've found those 69 vehicles, if I use the little checkbox over here, as soon as I select that checkbox, it will select the first 30 in the view, or I could ask it to select all of them, like so. But you'll notice on the right hand side, this has changed what I've got available to me. So it's changed these little headers, and you'll notice one there, the little tag one there. It's called Manage Tags, and if I click on that, I can now assign a tag to those vehicles. You can see we've done quite a few in the past, so I could call that quarter one offer, sorry. And as soon as I update those vehicles, that will then just attach that tag to those. To all of those 69 vehicles, and it will be then visible by everyone else in the system that's using SalesMaster at that time within my account, and you'll see it as there. And then of course, if I just take out that, I can just look straight away search for that Q1 offer, like so, and then it will find those vehicles hopefully within that.
I think that was the one we talked about last week, where we're also tagging multiple vehicles because it runs a background task in order to do that. So where Howard kept it on the screen, you wouldn't need to necessarily wait for it to do that, because you could be tagging a lot of vehicles for different purposes. We're demonstrating the offers here and campaigns, but you can also tag vehicles for whatever reason, and they can also have multiple tags. So yeah, it sometimes just takes a second to update those.
Yeah, you could. It does take a second sometimes to build those tags on top of them. But what you can do is once you recall that, is then just bring them back into the view simply by clicking on the tag. I'm just going to take out the polos and the minus sold, and then I can just simply add that as a Q1 offer, like so, on the polos. So I'm just going to put polo. And then I can save that, and of course I can have that pinned as a tab, like so, and then just recall that on a regular basis. And I may even want to, get the email alert to come to me on a regular basis as well, to just keep updating me on how we're doing.
Yeah, I've seen some great examples of people using that for promoting certain stock campaigns. And as I say, instead of relying on an email distribution list or a spreadsheet that gets sent round, you can just configure that one dynamic view, share it with everybody, but also add the auto scheduled email, so that you are doing a prompt to tell people to the latest position. So pretty efficient way of communicating that across a large sales team.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, when someone's searching in the system, they see that offer as well. So once you put it on top of the vehicles, everyone gets to see it. Everyone using the system, so everyone would see that there was the offer on there, even if you didn't push it all to them, which of course you could do. So we could just simply edit that view and then just share it across to Annette, for instance. And as soon as I hit save, that will move it on to the shared views. So I know where I'm sharing it to, and then Annette would pick that up and be able to see that view of the data as well. And
once again, I guess the permissions. So if certain users would have ability to tag vehicles. So we can, if you haven't got that and you think you need the ability to do it, that's obviously something to get in touch with us about. So we can just make sure. So normally it's a kind of management role or administration roles that would have this kind of tagging facility. But please get in touch with the team if you want to make use of some of these features, because these sessions that we're running is all about promoting kind of the tips and tricks that perhaps you may have been shown a long time ago, but it's just a bit of a refresher to keep you up to speed, particularly now with lots of reliance on stock, particularly with the click and collect and online selling channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's exactly the same way as Chris mentioned. As we showed in our video last week, once you select those vehicles, you can choose what destination you may be sending them to, or when we come into the pricing. But yeah, great simple way of adding a tag to a vehicle and highlighting to everyone a campaign or certain criteria on a vehicle.
Really good, thank you, Howard. Good to see some of those features. If we just switch back to the camera view, that'd be cool. I'll try and switch to the split screen and just move over here. So no, I think some useful tips there. The other point, I suppose, we did have some comments last week regarding the online integrations, and just to reiterate that we've got integrations with many of the online marketplaces, but also with the website providers that look after your own website. So and that's usually handled in a slightly different way. So where we demonstrated sort of publishing vehicles using the interface as Howard demonstrated today, usually the website integrations are just based on a rule within the API. So to set all vehicles within a certain status or a certain criteria to be fed through on the API. So but that could be also linked to a tag as well, couldn't it? So we've got examples of people using tags to promote certain vehicles on that API call on the website, so to make it perhaps a more prominent position of the vehicles that are on offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a really powerful way of highlighting those vehicles even through the API as well. Yes.
Good stuff. And we've had So it's a bit quiet on the chat this afternoon. So if anybody out there that wants to join in, please send us a comment. We've had something from the Richter guys. So Richter and Apt doing a great job at Denby House. So hi to Neil and the team. So we've got an exciting time for them at the moment with having relocated, an impressive facility being set up for those guys. So good to see you, and thanks for joining in, guys. So Annette, have we got just having a look through us? Yeah, so a few. How are we doing on time? So yes, we've got probably 5 minutes left. So if there are any other questions, please please join in. As I say, we'll publish this onto the channel afterwards. So you may be watching this back. I appreciate you. Not everybody can join in. We just try to choose a time to suit everyone, but we are kind of keen to calibrate that, so come up with the time that works. So let us know if there's a more convenient time for us to be doing these. We'll be glad to hear that and tweak it accordingly. Okay, well I think that's it for today then. We've shown most of the things we wanted to, so please put in any comments, and we'll be back with the next one for another subject with a few tips and tricks. So look out for that. Please subscribe to the channel, as I said. That way we can communicate and tell you when the show's coming on. So Annette said we've had a comment from Will Clark. Will, unfortunately you can't join us today, but good to hear from you anyway, and hope to see you on the next one. And yeah, look forward to speaking to you all soon. So thanks very much for joining in. Take care. Cheers.